because Mason's locked up. And okay, this was something that actually bothered me so much throughout the movie. Nothing, I mean nothing, is done right as far as police procedures. Welcome to Rip to Shreds, and today we're ripping to shreds Heart Eyes, the latest directorial movie from Josh Ruben. And it's set in Seattle, and it's a slasher film, and it's about Valentine's Day murdering couples, serial killer kink, as they say in the film. So currently on Rotten Tomatoes, Heart Eyes is sitting at an 81% from critics. A slasher movie sitting at 81% from critics, it must be great. The audience says 79%, 500 plus people said that. 106 reviews from critics. The budget seems like we got two different sources of a budget. Google says 40 million. I call bullshit because it's that what a waste of money if that's 40 million. But then you said you saw how much?
18 million from thenumbers.com, and then Reddit has a post about $18 million as well. And so
I think it's safe to say that is more accurate, at least for production. Maybe the 40 is including advertising or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like they're going pretty hard on advertisement probably this week.
Oh yeah, for sure. Trying to get that date money for sure. Yeah. Hard Eyes, the director Josh Ruben, he also directed Werewolves Within, and what was the other one? There was a different, oh my god, IMDb changed the way they lay things out and it's awful.
You lose.
I just had it in front of me and it disappeared because IMDb said F you. Scare Me was his like directorial debut. It was just two people in a cabin telling each other scary stories, trying to scare each other. It did not look very good. It did not get good reviews. Werewolves Within, I've heard a lot of people talk trash about it. I haven't seen it. Did you watch it?
I watched it. It was pretty fun.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
And yeah, now it looks like he directed a couple TV things, and now we got Hard Eyes, his third feature film. And I am going to say that this is garbage myself. I don't know about you. This film, so
explain to us why it was garbage and why it was so bad.
You got your writing. It seems like, honestly, you could have told me not. I know this is the bandwagon everyone's jumping on all the time, blah blah blah. It seems like it was written by AI. Like, I've heard every conversation that happened in this film before. It seemed like they wanted to fit in all the classic tropes for like a rom-com slasher type stuff, and they didn't have enough runtime to come up with their own original material because they wanted to fit in all the tropes. Therefore, they chose to just fit in all the tropes, and that's it. So I will say pluses for this, killer design. It's good. Hard Eyes looks cool, especially when he flips on that night vision. Pretty dope.
Yeah, really cool.
And they did a decent job filming the murder scenes and everything. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually good, because it just like it failed on a writer level. Whoever put together the kill scenes, there's They're fine. There's like some creativity a little bit, but it's ultimately just mid, if not just lame. Um, but yeah, also over the weekend, it's made $8 million. So
Bad for
obviously they're probably hoping to that the second weekend is Valentine's Day weekend. They're gonna recoup more money. Um, can they match that 18 million? At least make it 16, get close to their budget. We'll see. But at this time, it seems like reviews and everything are slowly dropping off. So word of mouth is not going to help this film as it should not. Um, and yeah, do you wanna go through the movie and why it sucks?
I don't know. What I think that's what we should do because that's kind of what we do. We open up this movie and try to explain, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. You know,
The we tried to look at some trivia. I heard somebody say, well, obviously, I gave some trivia about the director. Mason Gooding is in it. He's Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son.
yeah,
There's some trivia. Wow, if you didn't already know that, I completely forgot about that. He's also in Scream 5. No, not Scream 5. Scream 6, and he will
yeah.
be in Scream 7. He's one of the better parts of the newer Scream movies, I will say.
Mhm.
I heard in an interview, and I just like I don't know if I care enough to really deep dive to see what I heard somebody say that. Oh, this is the same team that did Scream.
So,
Who exactly? Maybe some of the production people or something. Because like
mm,
I guess the quality wise of just like what it
one of
looks
the
like and
writers was
everything.
the writer from Freaky and Happy Death Day
Oh
and
my God, this
all
guy.
those movies.
Oh my God. There's something about that guy. I don't know. Something
And
about
he's
his
doing that
writing
new
is
movie Drop
trash.
that's coming out in a few weeks.
Yeah, that one I don't think that looks good at all. I
They also
did
had three different writers, so I'm guessing that's where all of the unevenness, in my opinion, at least, probably came from because it feels like it was almost written by a whole group of people, and like the beginning scene of the film, I thought was really really strong
Yeah, no, it's
with the
fair.
whole engagement and
It was
everything going
funny.
on. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
funny. It was we got like a spin on like the rom com where it's like the perfect engagement, and all of a sudden he gets a call and didn't get the shot correctly, and then you know he's more of like the bridezilla in this in this instance more than the girlfriend, and then we were basically shocked into the first kill of the movie, which you didn't expect with Hard Eyes just walking up and stabbing through straight through the camera, which I thought was a great surprise.
Oh yeah, that was
And
good introduction for sure.
yeah, good introduction. The use of the crossbow and him extending the arrows, I thought that was pretty cool when he was walking.
I feel like they did like a good introduction to him and everything, and then he just kind of didn't really, I don't know, there wasn't much pizzazz with the crossbow after the beginning of the
Yeah,
film. It was just kind of there, it was whatever, even though he had these pretty cool arrows that extended and collapsed and like they had a heart on the end. But this
yeah.
doesn't really do much with that. But I also just read that one of the writers, yeah, Freaky and It's a Wonderful Knife. That film is absolute garbage. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've
Um,
never seen it.
I would say that that film suffers from the same thing that this film suffers with, which is um, thinking you're funny and you're not funny.
Yeah,
This film has a lot of jokes that fall flat.
yeah.
Like mild amusement is what I got most of the time. The
Hmm.
intro was probably the funniest part, just because these drama, do everything right, engagement proposal that was going on. And yeah, so yeah, it starts off with the little proposal that Hard Eye shows up, murders the people. What see what happens. So photographer gets machete through the camera lens into his face,
Yeah.
which is obviously not realistic at all, but we accept it. That's fine. I'll take it. And then fiance dude gets arrow
Arrow to
through
the
the face, through the back of the face, whatever. And then it's at a winery, so there's the cold press machine, whatever you want to call it,
yeah.
and the lady gets trapped in there,
It's smashed.
and smished. And then we get the detectives looking at it. His name's like Devon Sawa, right? Something
Yeah.
like that.
He's
He's
from Final Destination, Idle Hands, a lot of movies
yep,
from like the 2000s era.
yep. He's in the Chucky TV show. He's great.
Yeah.
They underutilized him hard in this. He was barely
Mhm.
in it. And then yeah, so then here's the thing. So then they introduced Jordana Brewster and Devon Sawa, pretty strong actors.
Yeah.
Good chemistry. They're at least kind of making jokes. They're not necessarily landing with the jokes, but they're trying. It's mild amusement that you're getting from them. And then we go to Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding. Their story. I would have rather it was about the cops. I was just like,
Yeah.
okay. And then nothing wrong with Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding at all. It is just the material they had. You get the classic. They bump into each other.
Off each other's
Literally
heads.
knocking each other's heads. Drop coffee. All this stuff. And then. Oh my God, I have to go. I'm late for work. And then at work's not going great. Here's this new guy. Oh, it's him. Everything is something you've seen before. It is so
Yeah.
annoying, honestly. And like I'm okay with you doing stuff we've seen before, especially when you're obviously a horror comedy,
Yeah.
but make it funny. Like, my God.
Or make it your own too. Do a little twist on it, a spin on it.
One or the other. Instead,
Yeah.
it's just rehash, repeat, copy and paste AI garbage. And like, there's nothing as far as the dialogue goes. It's just like whatever.
Yeah.
The actors do a good enough job, like with what they're given, but
Yeah.
nothing. And yeah, so then what they oh my God, we should have dinner and talk about it. Then they go to dinner, and then she goes on this little rant at dinner, just a poor me pity stupid dialogue I've heard before.
How love sucks, and
Yeah.
how everybody's gonna end up, solo for the rest of their life. And
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything more cringy than people complaining about love. Like, oh my God. And yeah, it doesn't get better when it's in a movie. And then you get them going out, and I suppose, I don't know, was there something funny? I can't even think. I thought there was something funny. She runs into the ex that she had that she still hung up on.
yeah,
Pretends to kiss him. I think there was something that made me laugh in that dialogue, but obviously it wasn't good enough because I don't remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then Hard Eyes is watching them. They move on. And then, oh yeah, this movie is also set in Seattle, but not filmed in Seattle.
like every other movie.
Yeah, there's
That's
your
filmed in
little
Seattle.
trivia fact. It's in Seattle, but it doesn't rain once in the movie. So inaccurate. There's also not heroin addicts and garbage everywhere. So
Not enough Subarus, not enough coffee.
not enough fentanyl.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, then Hard Eyes stalks them, and you do get a decent little killer reveal when he's in the apartment, which I then found out later is literally spoiled in the trailer. So if you've seen the trailer, you see one of the best moments. And I didn't watch the trailer beforehand, so at least I got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get a little dildo joke, which is just like, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny in the moment. But then, yeah, she goes to like try to hide the dildo in her closet because is there, but he hasn't seen it. And then Hard Eyes is in the closet. Oh my god! And it's like it's a decent little action scene. Like I would say, any of the violence and action definitely doesn't suck.
Yeah.
It just like once again, it just kind of suffers from not being very original. But it does have its little original moments with the
Yeah.
violence. And yeah, so then running away, all this stuff. She ditches Mason at some point, and then they keep talking about it for the rest of the movie. And it was just like I was over it at the second time that they brought it up, and they brought it up like 5 times. Also, yeah, the one thing that like, yeah, it's a movie thing. Kind of every movie has to do these moments to a degree, but this movie just went overboard with it. They literally almost get murdered, go through something super traumatizing, and then stop to have a little cutesy back and forth and uh, talk about love and make some jokes. That happens like 5 times in the film. One of them happens literally right after the closet scene of her in the room,
Yeah.
and they close the door and block it, and then they continue to and they, a little cutesy moments talk after a murderer just tried to murder you 5 seconds ago. Like that
Yeah.
is not. It's just not organic at all. It's just oh my god. But I can accept moments like that if you're doing something like you're parodying, you're making it funny, but they're not like that. They weren't even trying to put a joke in that moment.
Yeah.
And then the knife
They
goes
just
through the
kept trying to go
door.
back to the rom-com, style of movie,
Yeah.
and they forgot about the horror part for a second. And it's like, you know, if you're gonna have this type of movie, it needs to be, blended very well. But it wasn't blended very well. There was really, really hard edges to
Here.
the romantic
Here.
comedy and to the horror,
Yeah.
and it's like, where's the blend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. So yeah, not great.
And they give us like the famous like red herring scene where, oh no, he is the killer. The guy that she likes is the
So
killer.
here's the other thing. This is it's just a rip off of Scream.
Yeah,
Like it has like it's like copying every rom-com, and then when it comes to the horror stuff, it's ripping off Scream. And then maybe a little bit of like Jason vibes for the killer.
yeah,
And it's like come on. And then that's
yeah.
funny.
I think the comedy wasn't like witty enough to be successful. It was just very, very flat.
Which is interesting
And
because Josh Ruben was his startup and everything was literally College Humor, the YouTube channel.
yeah,
Like back in the day, was just like one of the big comedy sketch channels, early days of YouTube, and it's kind of fallen off since then, but they are still going.
yeah,
Obviously the original people aren't there anymore, but some really classic, really funny comedy sketches back in the day that Josh Ruben was a part of, and I'm pretty sure had writing credits on, and it's like, bro, what's going on?
well, he didn't write any of this movie though. He
Yeah.
just directed. So we can clear him of all, blame on the actual writing of the film. But I think the problem comes from having too many writers, and I think it stems from the same problem of that Wolfman had a couple of weeks ago when we reviewed it, where they had a very, very strong like ideas, but didn't have a full script written. Like this, very, very strong, beginning, very, very strong. Hard Eyes himself, very, very strong character, but then it's all the connective tissue that didn't really work well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really, really wanted to enjoy this movie a lot because it felt like Hard Eyes, through the trailers. When I watched the trailers, it felt like we are going to see something, fun, and yet, super horror filled as well. And it was going to be a good blend of the two genres, but no, it's just one of those movies that was so predictable in everything it was going to. I even leaned over before the whole reveal and told you how the whole twist was going to happen and how they
Mm-hmm.
met. And I'm like, it's going to be something stupid. It's going to be they met on social media or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes later, that's what we got.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you just get the rest of the movie is pretty much just shenanigans back and forth with them dealing with hard eyes. It's
Yeah,
really
it was
not.
all the tropes. The police station.
Yeah, they go to police. Okay, yeah. So the police station. They arrest Mason Gooding, and they're like, he's the killer, and then they have like this damning evidence that he's been in all these different cities at the same time that Hard Eyes was, and it's like, oh shit, like maybe he is the killer. That is pretty substantial. Like these are different states. It's not just different cities all within Washington. No, different states.
Because Hard Eyes kills every year in a different area.
And then that was the only time we talked about it. Just like later, he's not the killer. It's cleared up, and we don't mention it again. And so they literally rip off the Scream thing where it's like, oh, it's the boyfriend. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, maybe it is. And like in the end, it's not. But so that's whatever. So because they think they caught the killer because he was right there, there's these things that line up. Oh my gosh. Because Mason's locked up. And okay, this was something that actually bothered me so much. Throughout the movie, nothing is done right as far as police procedures. I'm okay with like not doing things the right way, but like not even trying. They don't even interview her, Olivia Holt. There's like this big thing when she ditches Mason and Hard Eye's about to get her. The cops show up, they rescue her, and then they find Mason. They're like, it was him, and they arrest him. They don't interview her. They ditch her. And then she goes to the precinct to try to be like, it wasn't him. And they're like, screw off, lady. They're not interviewing her at all. They're not trying to talk to her. They're not seeing if she needs medical attention. She was just assaulted and nearly murdered, and they don't care.
And one of the funniest parts is they're like, oh, where's all the cops? Oh, they're out celebrating because they caught Hard Eyes.
Yeah, so like literally there is one cop in the building and 2 detectives, and that is it. Like, give me a better excuse. If they're celebrating that they caught Hard Eyes, then all of the cops should be in the precinct. They should be where Hard Eyes is, not away. They're like, hey, we caught him. Cool, let's go this way. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So that is just pissed me off because it's like, huh? And then they do it again at the end of the film once everything's resolved. They once again ditch her, which is stupid. Yeah. Nothing is done in an accurate way, like to the point of like it pissed me off. But so then so it's like literally 1 cop, 2 detectives. Hard Eyes is in the precinct, and there's nobody to stop him because there's only 1 cop that has a gun apparently. And he murders the one lady cop that's there, and then they murder Devon Sawa immediately, and it's like, okay, he didn't last long at all. And then it's like he chops his balls or something. It's kind of an awkward kill, honestly.
Yeah.
He's just what does he even do? He does the under with that, hits him in the crotch, and he's like, oh, and then you get like, I don't know, you get that kind of blood where it's like not just blood, there's like water mixed in, whatever mixture they had for the practical effects. So it just kind of looked weird.
Yeah. Almost looked like he diarrheaed it out of his ass.
Yeah, it's just like, what is happening right now? Like, is that mixed with piss? Because we all do know that pee is stored in the balls. So it's like you see this spray that's not red, and it's like, okay, and then you get a little bit of blood. And I don't even remember how he finishes them off. Is that like it? Like he falls down? So. And is that literally it?
Yeah, and then they go into the interrogation rooms, and Hard Eyes goes and tries to kill Mason Gooding, and somehow I think she went back for the gun, and she grabs a gun and shoots through the glass, and
misses every
scares
shot.
Hard Eyes away.
Yeah. Or like honestly, a moment like that, like I'm okay with her missing every shot. Like that's whatever. Like a person that's never touched a gun, that's realistic, honestly.
She grabbed the key that knew exactly what key it was to unlock his handcuffs right away.
I guess it got a small like smirk chuckle out of me where she went after she blew out the window trying to shoot Hard Eyes from the interrogation room. She tries to climb in and then just falls on her face,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny. Like, I guess I'll give him a point for that. And then yeah, no. So then yeah, and then of course Jenna Brewster, she's off camera or whatever when her thing happens. She tried to shoot at Hard Eyes, and then the next thing you see her, she has like a sling. So it's like, okay, he attacked her and didn't care. And then bullshit. We're at the movie theater drive-in.
Yeah, they run from the police station to the drive-in.
Yeah, and then we get the actual one creative kill that's in the whole thing. Which is, oh yeah, and then that scene was just like awkward, like not in a funny way. I know they were trying to make it funny, but it was just like, I don't know how to feel about this. So the movie theater, not movie theater, drive-in movie theater, they're looking for cars to hide in, and then they have a little cutesy moment. Like, damn girl, we almost got murdered 75 times tonight. How you feeling? I don't know. I kind of like you. Just bullshit. And then, but you know, they sneak into someone's car, and in the back of that van, it's a couple, and they're banging, they're doing sin in the back, and so all while they're having this cutesy conversation, you're hearing it's just
like, you're hearing the sounds of passion.
Yes,
in the
and it's like obviously supposed to be funny, but I don't know, it just kind of goes on an awkward amount of time that it's like I get what you're going for. I wish I could be laughing at this right now.
Yeah.
Like maybe you guys held back too much. Maybe like I feel like that scene needed them to go over the top, having them screaming like crazy stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But we just have mild moaning and a mild conversation. And it's like, this just feels weird. Like it's just, I don't know. And like it got...
Like why would the people want to stay in there, you know?
Yeah. It's like, I know that it was supposed to be funny, but it just like, once again, falls flat, maybe gets a smirk out of you. But then Hard Eyes pops in, tire iron through the dude's mouth. Dude was laying down through the dude's mouth, and then grabs the chick, and then other side of the tire iron splats her face on it, which was kind of a cool little kill. Apparently it was in the Red Band trailer, so sounds like all you need to do is watch the Red Band trailer and you've seen the movie, you know. At least all the good parts. And for some reason then they're like, oh, we need to fight him because we brought him here, we can't just run away.
He's killing everybody.
And meanwhile they're just like taking their dandy time to talk about this. Oh, we need a weapon. Grab the tire iron out of their faces, and then you get this, like, once again, supposed to be a cutesy, funny moment of them grabbing the tire iron together and ripping it out. But just the way it's executed is just kind of whatever.
They acted, it was like Mjolnir or Excalibur trying to pull it out of the stone. Like, it was so hard.
Exactly. And it's like, I think you could have found something better than the tire iron, but whatever, you know. And then, they have a little duke out with Hard Eyes, kill him kind of easily. It's kind of anticlimactic. Once again, it's just like another mid scene. And then they pull off his mask. He's just some random guy. And it's like, I have no problem with random guy. Cool. Moving on.
You've never seen this guy before in the movie. He has no history or any connection with him. It's like, okay, this might be a little different, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then you get this scene where it just makes no sense on any level. So cops show up, ambulance, blah, blah, blah. Mason, his whole thing is he was going to fly out the next morning to go to his friend's wedding. So he needed to catch a plane. After all this, I would cancel all of my plans personally, but he still needs to catch his plane. So they talk a little bit, and then Jordana Brewster shows up, and she's like, I'll give you a ride to the airport. And he's like, damn, okay. And just ditches Olivia, and all the cops ditch Olivia.
Yeah. And throughout the whole film, she's like, kind of hitting on him when she's like, you know, met him, and she tried to do like the good cop, bad cop thing, and
Yeah.
she was like talking about how hot he is, and
Yeah, it's another thing that just falls flat because
yeah,
it's like it's a thing throughout that Jordan Brewster's single and she's trying to get a boyfriend. So
yeah,
it's like an ongoing joke that's just not funny. Um, and so she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give him a ride, haha." And like once again, no interviews, no nothing.
yeah,
The their cops are there for barely any time and they all leave. Like there's barely any like crime scene stuff that happens. You see a body bag, one body bag, even though he murdered like I don't know, like 5 to 8 people maybe. Um, and yeah, and then like once again she's left alone, and then so then that doesn't make sense. It also just doesn't make sense that the Mason character is like, yeah, okay, bye, bitch. I'm gonna go with this detective
yeah,
and go to the airport. Like he just ditches her. Not only all the
yeah.
cops who have been ditching her the whole time, he chooses to ditch her, and it's like, what? That's just so they can have the moment where she's like, in her apartment, it's so sad. Oh, I'm gonna
I need to
uh,
go tell him that
go
I
tell
like
him
him
that
before he leaves.
yeah, tell him that I love him after y'all just endured one of the most horrific things you could ever think of. And then, of course, oh my God, he's been kidnapped by Hard Eyes. And then the reveal happens. It's Hard Eyes is Jordan Brewster and some
IT tech from earlier
IT
in the movie.
tech that was in the police precinct for literally like less than a minute. And it's like
His scene
whatever.
was actually all right in the thing where he's like trying to shoot a shot, and he was like so awkward about it.
Yeah, and like once again, I think anything there's good to grab onto with this film, it's the actors. I think the
Yeah,
actors do a good job. It's just they have bad material to work with. Um, but so then yeah, so it's like once again, it is the same like copy and paste, just a rip off a
yeah.
Scream reveal where it's like it was me and my boyfriend, this tech
And
Asian guy, and
the other guy was in love with me, so he wanted to jump
yeah,
along and do it.
yeah, it was a throuple. So the guy you killed was just like a fanboy, essentially. Um, and yeah, and then like they do a little throwback where like they do a little recap of like it was Jordan during this time, it was tech guy during this other time, it was, and it's just so pointless, and it's like to a degree that like it kind of like pisses me off that it's like you got this hulking slasher and you expect me to believe it was Jordan Brewster hiding in the closet, towering over her when she opened the closet door, and now she's not towering over her now that she's not in the costume. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. You can like I know people kind of don't like the Scream movies for that same reason, but there's something about Scream that I just kind of accept it, honestly.
yeah.
Uh People like to say there's some sort of um like paranormal value to Ghostface, that he gives people strength and whatnot. You can argue that, whatever, but so they do the same thing with Hard Eyes, and it's just like
Yeah,
I'll accept it in one franchise. I'm not going to accept it in more than one, okay?
yeah,
Because also she's super strong. She's stabbing knives through doors and all this stuff. You know,
yeah.
you're gonna expect okay, whatever. Um, and yeah, then you get a fight.
Chaos ensues.
Yeah,
At
it's
the church.
it's whatever. Oh yeah, no. So they're for some reason they're like, okay, because it's all love themed. You're gonna shoot Mason
Or kill
and
yourself.
we'll let you leave, or you can kill yourself. And I don't, do they even say they'll spare Mason? I don't know. It's
Yeah,
whatever. So then she shoots Mason in the shoulder and it hits uh Jordan Brewster in the stomach. And so it's like, oh yeah, she shot him, but it's like I think they were trying to go for like a thing of like she has bad aim and she was actually just trying to shoot Jordan.
yeah.
But they absolutely do not convey that like at all. There's one little mention of like, I had bad aim. And it's like, wait, so what was your intention exactly?
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing that was the intention, is to not shoot him at all. but they do a very bad job at conveying that. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of confusing what the intention was, and it's whatever. But yeah, then you get homie gets doused in wax and I think stabbed a little bit.
Get the arrow through the eye.
Yeah, the arrow through the eye was pretty cool because then it's like the arrow that like compresses and then expands, and it's like it expands into his eye, and then he gets the other eye stabbed too, so he's got like two hard eyes. Oh, and then Jordan Brewster gets just kind of a weird
Decapitated with the sword.
decapitated with a sword. It's just interesting.
He gets pushed into St. Valentine's Day sword.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There was something about the fight between Jordan and Olivia Holt that was like, didn't make any sense in the moment. I remember being like, huh? But I don't even remember what it was now because it just wasn't memorable. But I guess, the outcome for both the killers to die the way they did wasn't necessarily bad. It was one of the more creative things, I suppose, especially the hard eyes and arrows in the eyes. Like, I'll take that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
And then like the end comes, and they both like fall in love with each other, and it's a year later, and they're at the same drive-in theater, and they're getting engaged, and then she gets a call from Hard Eyes again.
But turns out it's just their friend who's
trying to take pictures of the engagement, like the original film, original couple.
Yeah, incredibly messed up to think about. Hey, you guys remember when you're absolutely traumatized by this murderer and then you yourselves had to kill people to survive? You remember how you had to take lives in order to save your own life and witnessed horrific gore and murder? I'm gonna remind you of that like right now in like one of your happiest moments. Like if you just like take a second to think about anything that happens in this film, it's garbage. Like it's just like it's terrible, and it's like
irrational.
Obviously, this is supposed to be a little popcorn flick and yada yada, but it's like oh, you're not supposed to think about it that way. But because of the nonsense it keeps shoving in my face, it makes me think that way. I am A-okay shutting off my brain for an enjoyable little popcorn flick. I think like a great example of that is like The Meg with Jason Statham. I think that movie, stupid, but I enjoyed it. I turned off my brain, I didn't enjoy it enough to like watch it again, but like I enjoyed my one sitting with it. This is something where it's just stupid and that's it.
Yeah, I think the problem with movies like this is like when it does stuff that makes you think too much outside the box, then it takes you out from enjoying the movie, and therefore you start thinking about all the dumb stuff that this thing is doing instead of where like The Meg or some other cheesy popcorn movies, it just does stupid stuff, but it does stupid stuff where you don't have to think about it, and so you don't take yourself out of the movie while you're enjoying it.
Exactly.
And so you're able to enjoy the movie, and then by the end of the movie you're like, oh, that was a quick 80-minute runtime. That was worth my admission. Where a film like this, it was closer to 100 minutes, and every so often I was like, what's going on here? Why are we doing this? And then it was such like stark contrast between like the rom-com and the horror, like I said, and there was like just stark edges and nothing blended well together, and I think that part was like the worst thing for me, and it took me out of the film mostly.
No, yeah, exactly. So yeah, if anything, its biggest sin of all is just bad dialogue, boring dialogue, unoriginal dialogue. That's my biggest issue with it. Because I'm willing to forgive a lot if you can deliver in other aspects, and yeah. So how many heart eyes would you rate Heart Eyes?
I give it 5 out of 10 hard eyes.
Ooh, 5 out of 10. Okay, so you
Yeah.
would. I mean, that's middle of the road. So you think it's a mid movie? You don't think it's below average?
I give a mid movie like a six ish, seven ish. This is below average for me, definitely.
But as far as the definition goes,
Yeah, it's definitely below average. Give it an F grade.
okay, fair. I like to keep it with the 1 to 5 rating. I'll give this a 1.5. I just not it.
Yeah.
Where it does I would give a movie a 0. Trust me. Where it does get points is Hard Eyes is cool himself. The killer design, Hard Eyes is cool. The reveal literally kind of takes away from Hard Eyes himself. Of like who the actual is behind the mask. That stuff was just lame. But the design, the little hard eyes, the night vision with the hard eyes was pretty neat. And yeah, then the actors did as good as they could.
Yeah.
Yep. The kills were not bad,
Hmm.
but they were mid.
Yeah. I just feel like the three writers thing is what did them in, and I think they didn't have a fully realized story. It's like they had one writer write the rom com stuff, another writer write the beginning, and then another writer write all the horror scenes, and it's like,
Hmm.
where did this all come from?
Just
You know?
does not
And
match up.
no, and I think, like I said before earlier, and I'm like, I think they had a strong idea with the intro to the scene, Hard Eyes
Hmm.
as a slasher himself, but they didn't know what to do with the rest of the film at all.
Yes.
And I feel like it was probably rushed, or like I said, too many cooks in the kitchen kind of muddled the whole idea of what they were going for.
Yeah.
The
I
original
mean,
idea.
it seems like with something like this, like yeah, there's the thing of like, is it rushed, is it not? But it's like with how much is not original, it seems like, yeah, we rushed from here's our idea and we're shooting next week. Like rushed in that fashion. Like they had
Yeah.
no time to have any original ideas, which then just tells me you're a bad writer.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah. I think this like it has the exact same problem as the Wolfman.
mm-hmm.
Still stuck in the first or second draft and needed much more to clear everything up and make it a stronger movie.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe if we get a sequel that, maybe we'll have a little bit more fun with the idea and kind of push the envelope a little bit more with the rom-com scenes maybe being not so cheesy, and the better horror. And I never felt like the main characters were ever in danger in this film at all.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just something that falls flat with like everything that happens, honestly.
Yeah. and
Everything
with
falls flat.
and with like how Hard Eyes um you know killed everybody in the intro scene and took no prisoners. Is like he had Mason Gooding down and out and knocked out, and yet he didn't kill him. He turned around, just went after
Yeah, it
Olivia Holt,
seemed like
and it's like,
literally the only reason to do that was for the plot, just so they could
yeah,
think that it was Mason. Like
yeah,
it doesn't make sense in the moment for the characters, therefore you're wrong and you need to rewrite that scene. Like
hmm
yeah.
yeah. But I don't think there's much more to say about this film.
Yeah. So make sure to if you are a lover of Hard Eyes, if you're one of the people that are giving Hard Eyes these great reviews, please argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm a stupid poo poo head and that Hard Eyes is great. I'm sure your argument will just be popcorn. It's fun. Shut off your brain.
John Bannon,
No.
he's woke.
Yeah, I'm woke. I don't know how would I be a hater? I mean, I said the thing about Jordan Brewster, female killer, negative stuff. Does that make me not woke? Is the woke mob gonna come for me, or are they gonna come for
You're
me?
gonna attack from both sides.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so argue with me in the comments, or agree with me. Do you agree with me that it's absolute garbage? Do you agree with Rick that it's not absolute garbage, that it's like
Pretty meh.
mid, it's kind of whatever. And then yeah, make sure to heart eye the video, hit the like button and the bell icon and the subscribe button. Um, have a happy Valentine's Day. Uh, don't murder couples on Valentine's Day. It's not a good time.
Mm-mm.
It's not very Valentine's-y in the spirit. So don't do that. And maybe watch some other videos. We did a Rip to Shreds on Nosferatu. That's a better love story than this.
Yeah.
We got more than just one video on Nosferatu. You can check it all out. But I think that's
Until
it.
next time.
We don't have like a slogan for the end of our videos. We need to make a slogan. Stay fictitious and dark. Fictitiously dark stuff. Okay.
Balloons for you.
And balloons. Okay, bye.
Yeah.